Hi everyone! In today's video I am going to be talking about books that are on my wish list. So I'll be saying why I want the book pretty much and maybe info about the book. If you have the book, then let me know. Let me know if it's a good book before I buy it, obviously. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, I want the World Encyclopedia of Animals because this book series is pretty good. I actually have the World Encyclopedia of Dinosaurs, and I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but I did reread it recently, and it's way better than I remember from my first time reading it. So yeah, this series, pretty good. Next up though, I would love to read Lost Animals, Extinction in the Photographic Record. It is like a very sad book because it basically is animals that went extinct, and it has like photo proof of the animals that used to exist. A lot of books like to draw the extinct animal, but when you have photographic proof of the animal ever existing, it's a lot nicer because you get to see how they actually were in real life. And it's sad, but you don't want to forget what we lost, you know? I also would love to read Crow. It's just a book about crows, honestly. We're talking about animal books, so what's on the cover is what you get, I guess, but there are a lot of animal books that are very vague. I hate that. Like, I love animal books that are very, like, in-depth and talk about the species and, like, everything about them. Even if it's not family-friendly, you know? Because there is stuff that's about crows that is not family-friendly at all, but I love to know all of the details, even if it's, like, crazy. For example, vultures. A lot of people I know don't like to talk about vultures because it makes them queasy. However, I love vultures. I think it's really, really cool. And this book is like one of the few books on vultures I have found that I think might be really great. So if you have it, let me know because I don't want to be disappointed if I get this book, you know. However, moving on, I would love to check out how birds work. This book is an illustrated guide to the like function of birds, you know, flying and everything. It's not on the top of my list, but I would check it out if I could. But moving on, the Complete Illustrated Encyclopedia of Birds. Need this book. I really, really do. Flamingo. This is a picture book. Like, that's what I've heard it is. That's what I've read about it. It's a picture book. And I love flamingos so much. Like, I really do love flamingos. I know this book is just about pictures of flamingos. It just has pictures of the bird. But that sounds great to me. I love looking up pictures of flamingos and just like staring at them because they're just so pretty. But if we're on the topic of actually reading about birds, then The Bird Way seems like a really great book. However, I'm not sure because I didn't read it yet, but the reviews on it are pretty amazing. It's just a new look at how birds talk, work, play, parent, and think. And birds are really fascinating. They're a lot more intelligent than people think, which is just like crazy, you know? Love birds. I love bird watching. I love birds a lot. So if you ever read this book, let me know. Tell me if it's good. Also, Gifts of the Crow. I already have another crow book on this wish list, but, you know, I really love crows. The second I hear a crow outside, I'm like, where is it? Like, I just stan crows so hard. So I think I might like this book a lot. But moving on, I love hummingbirds so much. Like, whenever it's summer, hummingbirds appear in my, like, neighborhood, and it's so cool to watch them. Like, they come to the hummingbird feeder, they sit on, like, the little clothing line outside, and they're so tiny, but, like, they're just so, like, cute, you know? And they're not really that scared of people either, so you always get, like, a really good look at them because they just hang around you, you know, if you have lots of flowers in your yard. So, yeah, I love hanging out in gardens during the summer because, like, hummingbirds are everywhere. Love them. But there is a lot of different types of hummingbirds, so I would love to see this book and get the book and learn about it because I know nothing about hummingbirds. I just know they're really pretty. Like, whenever I see them, it's like seeing a unicorn because they're not around all year. But what is around all year is vultures. I probably see a vulture every day, if not every few days, because vultures are pretty common. But although I know they're a scavenger bird, you could always learn more about the species you really, really love. So, of course, I think I would love this vulture book. And we also have Seahorses, a life-size guide to every species. Because I love seahorses and they're really, really pretty. And yeah, how could you not like seahorses? I also really do love koi. I don't think I've ever showed it before, but I literally built a Lego koi fish. I love my Lego koi. Ever since I was a kid, like, I've wanted a pet koi fish, like, in one of those, like, fancy ponds. I just think koi are so cool. But speaking of fish, the World Encyclopedia of Fish and Shellfish and Other Aquatic Creatures. There is so many fish. There's so much to learn. I think you can never learn enough, honestly. There's just so much that's in our oceans and lakes and rivers and ponds. And I feel like I spend a lot of time in the water in the summer, so it's really cool to know what you are entering. There's a lot of crazy, like, marine life in oceans. Some of it is scary, some of it is just really, really pretty. Either way, would love to learn about it. Why sharks matter. I would like this book because I feel like a lot of what I've been told about sharks is just lies. You know what I mean? Like, sharks are really painted out to be this, like, really scary, really, like, attacking fish. However, they don't even like people, so it'd be great to learn more about them. The Guide to Manta Rays and Devil Rays of the World, I think, would also be a pretty cool book because I just love stingrays, so would love to read this. I know nothing about them, though, so this is pretty much why I want the book, because I'd love to learn more. Obviously, you could say, just Google it, but, like, I like to hold a book. Like, I feel like if I can't physically hold the book, then it doesn't count. I would love this book about bees, this book about insects, because I hate when I go into forests and I see a bug and I'm like, what is that? Like, I hate not knowing what it is, you know? It's always really, really a good idea to hold a pocket guide. There is, like, thousands of species of bugs. Like, we need to know what is in the woods. Especially because some bugs literally bite and are poisonous or whatever. Venomous? Yeah. I think I might also like the book called Mammals of North America. I don't really need it, though, I think, because, like, if I'm in the woods and see a coyote, I'm gonna know it's a coyote. I'm not gonna pull out my pocketbook and be like, I wonder what this is, you know? But I guess it still would be interesting to have. Speaking of coyotes, I love coyotes a lot. I think coyotes are really misunderstood. I love them so much, so I'd love to read about Coyote America. But anyway, I also would love to have the Handbook of Whales, Dolphins, and Porpoises of the World, because I think that marine life is really, really amazing, and I love dolphins. I saw a dolphin, like, one time, and I was, like, so shocked. I was like, that's a dolphin. Like, you know, like, I always saw them in movies and TV shows and cartoons. It's different when you see them in person, you know? I saw the dolphin literally in the ocean, in the wild, and it's just so fascinating to me. They're like mermaids. I love it. Speaking of mermaids, I guess, Secrets of the Manatee, but I don't want this book necessarily. Like, if anyone has any manatee book recommendations, then tell me, because I just want a book about manatees. It doesn't have to be this one. But moving on, let's talk about horses. I love horses. Actually, I am, like, obsessed with horses. Really, really bad. Like, the three things I'm obsessed with are horses, mermaids, and flamingos. Like, a lot, you know? Horses have always been, like, a hyperfixation of mine. Like, my earliest memory is me getting a toy horse as a gift. Like, I love horses. I've always been obsessed with riding horses, being around horses, owning horses. I mean, we know this. I literally have 2 robot horses. But I always see this book in the bookstores, and I never picked it up ever. Like, to buy it. Like, I pick it up and I put it back on the shelf because I'm like, I don't know if I want to read it. However, it seems like it'd be a really interesting book to read. This other book called The $80 Champion also seems pretty cool. They're both nonfiction stories. Recently, I went to Barnes & Noble, and they have this book there called The Horse Encyclopedia. I want this book so bad. But it's $40. Like, it doesn't matter if you say it's bad or if it's good. I'm still gonna eventually get it, because DK, I think this is DK Publishing. Yeah, they have amazing horse books. They always do. I also would love the book The Donkey Companion, because I think donkeys are just so cool. And this is, like, the only book on donkeys I could find that's, like, fully in-depth. But anyway, I think I would like to read The Dog, A Natural History, just because, like, it's kind of cool. I would also love to check out Ice Bear, The Cultural History of an Arctic Icon. Forgot to mention, I love polar bears a lot. Not as much as I love flamingos. However, I am so ride or die for polar bears because they need saving. Like, I'm fully aware that if I was in the Arctic, it would literally consume me. However, I will still fight for it because it deserves to be protected. I think I also want to read The Cat, A Natural and Cultural History, even though I literally have a cat encyclopedia. I'd also like to read The Cow, The Horse, as well as Polar Bears. I think this book might be outdated, but I don't know. Also, there is this animal series. It's literally a series called Animal, and it has, like, each book is dedicated to a different animal. And I only have one book in the series so far, and it's called Flamingo, and I love it. I love flamingos, so of course I love that book. And I love this series because you could just pick out any animal you like and then read about it. You know, so of course deer, because I think deer are amazing. I love deer. They make me want to cry. They're like unicorns. And of course, the book about horses, giraffes, rabbits, dolphins, donkeys, zebras, seals, sheep. But anyway, I would love to check out Voices in the Ocean. It's a book about dolphins. And I think that is amazing. I would love to read all about it. It says it's a journey into the wild and haunting world of dolphins. Like, it's so fascinating because I'm pretty sure dolphins and whales are more intelligent than people. So it must be, like, insane to watch dolphins behave and, like, learn about them. But moving on, Snakes of the World. I really do struggle to find a good snake book. I feel like a lot of books, they are kind of vague because there's just so many species of snakes. They don't even know what to include because there's just too much info. But I think this one might be pretty good, so let me know. I also would love to read Heart of a Lion. It is about this mountain lion who traveled across several different states, and now people, I think, are like really anxious because they're like, oh no, there's a big cat just in our woods. That's really scary. And I showed this book to people before, and whenever I mention the topic of mountain lions returning to their historical home, right? Because, like, mountain lions used to be, like, everywhere, but now they really aren't because of mass hunting and also other reasons as well. And whenever I say there might be a mountain lion in our nearby forests because of them returning, people always say, oh, we have to go hunt it then. We have to go make sure it's hunted and get rid of it before it becomes a problem. But the reality is, though, is that you can't go into a forest and be surprised there's wildlife in there. That's like walking into a city and being surprised there's people. Like, a lot of people say how deer are a safety hazard, but we're the ones who built the road in the forest to begin with. People get really scared of bears. I'm really terrified of bears. But if you're scared of bears, then don't go into the forest and be surprised you see a bear. You know what I mean? It's like going into the ocean and being surprised there's a shark. Like, you can't expect nature to just bend at your command and be like, oh yeah, we'll get rid of sharks, we'll get rid of bears, we'll get rid of all these things for you. Like, it's really selfish the way that people think. They just assume that we need to get rid of species. But from the animal's perspective, they view us as the threat. You know, because we're the ones who are building on their homes. We're the ones who are invading their privacy, going into their homes. Like, the forest isn't your home, so don't go into it and expect it to change for you. I also would love to read The Bedside Book of Birds. It's a really beautiful book. It's just all about birds and, like, I guess, like, the history of them and more about them. It's really, like, artistic. I think it's really, really cool. But anyway, that is literally it for today. So, yeah, that's all. Hope you liked this wish list. I will see you guys next week. Bye!